Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Mudkip Mondays. So, first of all, what is Mudkip Mondays? Well, it's not quite as massive an idea as the trailer that came out yesterday implies, really. The idea came about when I realised that a lot of small tidbits of news were being released and appearing, but a lot of the time they just weren't quite big enough to make a whole video about. And on top of that, I often forget to make pickups videos whenever I buy something new, or again, it's such a small pickup that it just isn't worth it. Obviously, if a pickup or news item is big enough to warrant getting its own video, it will, but with Mudkip Mondays, I aim to be able to get my thoughts out on various current events in gaming and anime, just get them out there for people to see easily, basically. So you might be wondering why I decided to go with Mondays, and it just rolls off the tongue, really. That's about it. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's begin. So, we're right at the beginning of the spring anime season, and I've watched a grand total of two shows. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders and Dragon Ball Kai. And I'm going to give my thoughts on them now. So, let's start with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. Now, Stardust Crusaders, the anime, is something I've been waiting for a very, very long time, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint in the slightest. I'm a huge fan of the original Stardust Crusaders manga, and if the quality stays like this for the anime adaptation, this is going to be a very, very faithful adaptation. The animation was fantastic, the voice acting was fantastic, and the music was fantastic, basically. Sadly, we don't yet know what the opening or ending themes are as they were skipped this week, but hopefully we'll find out next time. I hope David Production continues with the theme of having old rock music as the ending theme, as was the case with the last season, which had Roundabout by Yes. Personally, I'm really hoping for Holy Diver this time. Next up we have Dragon Ball Kai. Now this one wasn't so great. Now many of you know about my problems with Dragon Ball Kai, mainly being that it isn't a full, proper remake of Dragon Ball like it could have been. Now, not that Kai isn't enjoyable, just it could have been so much better. And I just feel like it's a cut-up version of the original show really, which it basically is. And the new Buu arc of Dragon Ball Kai, which premiered yesterday, basically gives me that feeling more than ever. The remastering is pretty bad, the small amount of new animation that actually was created really isn't that great, and the music is mostly ripped from the recent Battle of Gods movies, so they didn't really even make much more music. And I mean, that music fits okay, but it would have been nice to see some more effort put in, honestly. On top of that, we also have new performances by the original Japanese cast of Dragon Ball Z, along with a few recasts for characters like Videl. And they were okay, but it's pretty clear to me that these actors were in their prime back when Dragon Ball Z was coming out back in the day, and not now. So obviously when the dub comes out for this, it will be interesting, but until then, this is just kind of annoying. But at least we have a filler-free version of the Buu arc, so that's pretty good. And also, we got a really cool ending theme out of it. Next up is pickups. So yesterday I went to London with my family, and we went up this big building that kind of looks like Licorice, you know, the one for the Olympics? Yeah, we went up that for some reason. But that aside, I also picked up two manga volumes, the first being Osamu Tezuka's The Mysterious Underground Men, and the second being Death Note Volume 13, How to Read. So starting off with The Mysterious Underground Men, which is my first Tezuka manga actually, I must say I'm pretty impressed. The story itself isn't amazing, but you have to remember this was written in 1948, and just seeing how manga has evolved since the early days is really, really interesting for me, and that was enough to warrant the purchase. Next we have Death Note Volume 13, How to Read, and you're probably wondering, wait, don't you already have a copy of that? And the answer is yes. But let me explain why I bought a new one. Basically, here is the new one, which opens fine, and here is the old one. As you can see, the binding is kind of screwed on it. So yeah, that's basically why I decided to pick up a new one. So basically, Death Note Volume 13 How to Read is basically just a guidebook for the series, but it's jam-packed with like stats, interviews, and even like a new manga chapter. So if you're a big fan of Death Note, this is a really good purchase, I'd say. Next up, we have the mailbag, which I can't do yet. So yep, every week in Mudkip Mondays, you, yes you, can send in a question to me, which I will answer. Obviously, there aren't any questions yet, because this is the first episode. Anyway, these questions can basically be about whatever you want, as long as they aren't too weird. So just send them to me through YouTube PM. I'm not really expecting to get that many questions for a few weeks, but I really look forward to receiving them and seeing what you guys come up with. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this week's Mudkip Mondays. Leave a comment down below, and I hope you all enjoyed. See you later.